Hello and welcome to Desert Storm, a program that we've been bringing you live from the UAE all throughout the Asia Cup. And I'm coming to you live from Dubai and don't have great news to report. That's because India have lost their second match in a row in the Super 4 stages, which means that now their chances of making it to the final are all but over. They still may have a mathematical chance, but if logically you look at it with the way the tournament is set up, two matches, you had no chance of making it to the final, and that's exactly what's happened with the Indian team. Sri Lanka has won this game by 6 wickets. It was a good performance from the Sri Lankan team. Then it started with the bowlers that restricted India to 173. 174 at that time looked like a par total, but then the Sri Lankan opening partnership of 97 runs almost took the game away from India. Yuzi Chahal came up with 3 wickets in the middle. You thought you had a glimmer of hope, but then towards the end also there was a good partnership by the Sri Lankan batsmen, and at the end of the day the match did go to the final over, as we've seen in the games before this as well. But once again India ended up on the losing side. Pragyan Ojha joins us live on the program. Pragyan, firstly your thoughts. I mean, you know, the first thing that comes to my mind is that you saw India go in with 5 bowlers in the Pakistan game. It was a strategy that did not work out. What would have prompted them to have done the same thing in this game?
I think India went with 5 bowlers and they had Deepak Hooda along with it. So the plan was quite clear. But I think if you look at the batting and bowling, I don't think we synced well. At a crucial juncture, we lost wickets. Whenever India needed a partnership, that's when we lost important wickets and we could not build on it. And if you look at bowling, if you don't pick early wickets, then I told you the momentum was with Sri Lanka. They have won big games. They were doing really well with the bat and the ball, and that's the reason they were confident. And if you miss that trick of picking early wickets and give them that chance when they had that partnership of 90 odd runs, so that is when I think they slightly moved ahead of us, and then the rest was taken care easily. And I would say Ashwin and Chahal managed to get us back into the game, but end of the day I think our faster bowlers did not deliver, and that is something which is going to be a concern.
Pragyan, I mean, one is not delivering on the front. I mean, we were building up to this tournament. This was being looked at this very important tournament ahead of the T20 World Cup. Many thought that you'd get an indication of how the Indian team performs here, and that will give you an indication of how going forward it will perform at the T20 World Cup. At the moment, the signs aren't great. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. I think there are a lot of queries that Indian team needs to address, because we could see the top order is not sinking. One guy is performing, the other 2 guys are not. That once that sinks, I think a lot of things will take care of itself. And when you talk about our bowling, every time any champion team, why do they win consistently? Because they pick early wickets and their spinners in the middle give you those 2 or 3 wickets. That's when you don't let the opposition dominate you. But now, if you see with our batting, we could not do anything. Rohit played well, but then the other 2 batsmen could not perform. Previous game, I think they had a good start, but you know, it was not kind of a sync. So once this sync happens, that's when teams perform consistently. So I think that sync is missing. It's like individual, as they say, individuals can win you games, but not championship. So that is something which I think this Indian team needs to look into, because as a team we are not syncing well. That's how it looks.
Okay, Sunny Gavaskar now joins us live. Sunny bhai, Pragyan points out that yes, there are a few individual brilliant performances that we see all this while, but the team is not syncing together. Why do you think that is? Because, you know, leading up to this tournament, we've been talking about last 6-8 months that we're trying different combinations. We've heard from the team management as well, saying that, listen, we are building up to that all-important Asia Cup and the T20 World Cup. If you've been trying a lot of things all this while, all experiments have been happening, all people playing at different position, figuring out who fits in which hole, then why is the sync still not happening?
I can't hear you. Didn't hear the question.
Sunny bhai, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'll have to come right close. Yeah.
Okay, Saiba, as Pragyan was pointing out, that one thing that is missing in the Indian team right now is that there is no sync. So you will get good individual performances once in a while, but the team is not gelling together. There's no sync. My question to you is, we've been building up to this Asia Cup. The last few months, we've all been talking about how the Indian team will, plan the Asia Cup, how they're going to be playing the T20 World Cup. So all combinations had been tried. You were working with a certain pool of players. Why is that sync still not come about?
It hasn't come about because you haven't had the same team playing. You know, you get into a sync when the same team is playing. You've tried to experiment, which is fine, which is nothing wrong with that, because there are always, 3 or 4 places up for grabs in a team, and in the process of trying to identify those players, you had different teams going, and with what that did was obviously, those players have now, when other players come back into the team, the sync will take a longer time. So I would have thought that, prior to this, the tour of Zimbabwe was the one where the team that is going to play the Asia Cup, the team that is going to be playing, or the majority of the players who are going to be playing in the World Cup should have been selected. But now you've got suddenly 4 or 5 guys coming in. The guys who had done well in Zimbabwe, etc., are not in the team, not even in the squad, not even in the 14, 15. And so obviously the sync is going to take some time to come.
Okay, Saibai says that sync will come. It might take some time, but the Indian team doesn't have a lot of time because the T20 World Cup is around the corner. Just looking at this particular encounter, Saibai, Pragyan spoke about it, India's bowling. Let me get your thoughts. We saw that, 5-bowler strategy that India employed when they were playing Pakistan clearly didn't work out. Were you surprised then that they've gone with that same strategy which didn't work in the last match and again has proved to be the Achilles heel? Because some would say in a pressure game, 170 odd may have been enough to defend, but you didn't have a bowling option to fall back on. If one of your 5 bowlers didn't have a great day, as Hardik Pandya didn't have today, as Arshdeep didn't have today, then you're in trouble if you don't have the 6th option. Sunny bhai, can you hear me?
I didn't catch a word of what. It was all crackle and static.
Okay, Saiba, I'm saying that strategy of 5 bowlers that India went in the game before this versus Pakistan didn't quite pay the dividends. Were you then surprised that they went with the same thing, and once again it's proven to be the Achilles heel because you didn't have a bowler to fall back on the day that Hardik Pandya didn't have a good day, the day Arshdeep didn't have a good day?
Some crackle. I can hear part of your voice.
Right, Sai bhai, can you hear me now? Okay, I think there is some sort of an audio connection. My audio isn't going through to Sunny Gavaskar. I'll come to Pragyan as well. Pragyan, Sunny bhai says that, in time all the combinations will come together. Maybe it'll take some time for that sync to happen. But I remember Rahul Dravid speaking ahead of this Asia Cup. So the Indian team didn't come to this Asia Cup to just get their combinations right. They came here to win this Asia Cup. With that in mind, with the performance in mind, it's clearly a reason to be disappointed for the entire team.
Yes, absolutely. Because when this tournament started, Indians were one of the favorites, and right now I think it looks very steep for the Indian team to qualify for the finals because they've lost the 2 games, and now it all depends on the calculation. So once the game goes away from you and you are depending on the mathematical calculations, that's when you know your chances are very, very little. So yes, Indian team will be disappointed because they were the favorites, and with these kind of losses, with so many questions to be answered, so I think there's a lot to think about.
Hmm. What is going to worry you as an admirer of Indian cricket, as a supporter of Indian cricket, Pragyan, at the moment? This KL Rahul's form, is that worrying you? Is the form of some of our bowlers worrying you? Is the fact that suddenly that cupboard that you said of fast bowling was very, very strong? We had an overflow of fast bowlers. Suddenly it's looking empty. What are the areas that worry you right now, going ahead and looking ahead to the T20 World Cup?
I think I strongly believe that if you have to win championships, you need good bowling attack. And every team that wins consistently, they have a strong bowling attack. If you go into the past and see,
Yeah.
every team which has a good solid bowling attack, they do that. So I think once Bumrah is back, I believe, this is my personal belief, that Shami should be around, because Bumrah and Shami will be very lethal. You can build a bowling unit around
Yeah.
them, because these two guys can do wonders, especially against good batting attack and on flat wickets which don't offer you too much. And this is what you're going to face in the near future in Australia.
So a few things for the Indian team to ponder over. Just one more thought, Pragyan, because I heard a lot of fans talk about it. Do you think the toss once again was crucial, and India were unlucky then to have lost two tosses in a row, and on both occasions bat first, which may not have been the ideal condition? That made a huge difference for the two losses?
See, I think toss, yes, it played a part, but if Indian they would have bowled to their potential, I was very sure that that Pakistan game and the Sri Lankan game we could have won. You know, it was well under our control. It is not that it was not in our control. It was one-sided game because of the toss. You have to look at, you know, toss is a factor that is done and dusted. That you can just leave it there once it is done. But when you reflect back, you have to see, have you done your job 100%? Have you really delivered what was expected out of you? So that is something which we need to address, because that is realistic. Toss is never in your control. Yes, that is something which gives you a little bit of advantage, but champion teams, they don't depend on toss or the condition. They think of winning the game on their skills.
Few Indian fans as well. Let's hear from them. What do you think went wrong?
Honestly, the bowling line wasn't. I mean, we have good bowlers, but we are not sure about our top 11. Always like, it was a mess. Like, we lost with Pakistan, and we were thinking that India will come back stronger. Everyone had lots of hopes with them, but then again with Sri Lanka, it was a disaster. And Sri Lanka played good, but you know, India, the standard is different, but still, they couldn't match the standards this time. So
What do you
very
think?
upset.
Upset, I can understand,
Definitely,
as Indian fans. What about you?
आई एम रियली डिसअपॉइंटेड बिकॉज जो हो सकता था कि बैटिंग हम लोग ने सोचा 180 या 190 के अबव होना चाहिए क्योंकि दैट्स द स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑफ इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम राइट
You were in a position to reach that at one point, the way Rohit was.
yes definitely we could achieve that, but when we did achieve something, you know, 150, you thought, okay, are we going to reach 160 or not? But somehow we did. But then since the target was less, we could have done a better fielding, which we didn't, and because of which it's really disappointing. Though we did give a good tight fight match, but last, you know, it was really utter disobedience.
Are you worried as an Indian fan for the T20?
I'm not. Right. So I think the issue primarily was that we have underestimated the opposition. We've been maybe playing a few easier matches prior to the Asia Cup, so we thought that we can get away with a Sri Lanka match vis-a-vis what I think Sri Lanka has improved in the last 2-3 months. And I think the second issue is the middle overs. We need to figure out a better game plan from over 10 to 15 and 16, because I think we are a bit too slow. Both Pakistan and Sri Lanka maintained their pace despite losing wickets, and they knew how to, you know, chase the runs. And I think Asia Cup is a good warm-up for the T20 World Cup. We need to know how to set targets. I think last 2 matches that's where we missed out. But it's okay. We lose.
Okay, that's a very pragmatic Indian fan. Not everyone is as pragmatic as this. But as an Indian fan, you know, this was being looked at as a build-up to the T20 World Cup, right? Everyone has the eyes. Are you worried with looking at this form of the Indian team? What might happen?
Definitely, Indian team needs definitely you're worried. Indian team needs a lot of work now. They need to practice very well for the T20, because if this is the form, then we are surely going to lose the T20. If
Team changes, any changes, or you think this is the...
No, I feel there should be some changes, and my brother would like to say a few
Yeah,
words
come
about
here.
the team. So.
Come here, come. You have to come behind, otherwise from there.
See, of course, there should be a lot of changes. First of all, we are unsure about our 15. आपके खुद के players are not sure about the games. आप ऋषभ पंत is not sure he is going to play और दिनेश कार्तिक is not sure he is going to play. तो आप ये 15 को जब आप खिलाते हो तो आप तो श्योरिटी पहले दो जिनको रखना है. आपकी मोहम्मद शमी has been in a brilliant form. क्योंकि उसने T20 last year was not performing well तो आपने उसको उस basis पे ये time में नहीं लिया. I think that is not a good decision. जब ये आए, you need experienced. आपके पास experienced bowlers नहीं एक भुवनेश्वर के अलावा. I mean the youngsters don't, आवेश खान हो या अर्शदीप हो, I mean they are new players, so you should give them the time and everything. But क्योंकि हमारे पास वो एक्सपीरियंस इन एक्सपीरियंस और आई थिंक कहीं ना कहीं हमने बहुत ग्रांटेड ले लिया आज की गेम. मुझे ऐसा लगा हमने हाफ हार्टेडली खेला. तो आई फेल्ट इट.
You felt it. I strongly disagree because I think it's good to have a competitive set of 20-30 players and let there be rotation, let there be some healthy competition. There's nothing wrong in that. I think once Bumrah comes back and the bowling lineup strengthens a bit, I'm sure the team will do well. Trust me, if you remember, my son said it before, there's still chance we defeat Afghanistan handsomely.
I tell you, let me tell you what. There may be a chance. Firstly, you're not going to get an India-Pakistan because only one now can qualify. Even if that scenario had to happen, only one can qualify. If that scenario is to happen. But for that to happen, you have to rely on 3 other results to go your way, not just your own results.
See, luck hasn't gone our way for the last 2 matches. Maybe luck's on our side in the next few, right? Let's be positive. Let's be positive.
That's okay. I mean, positive, I mean, I hope we are negative. I mean, but yeah, that's another thing. But I feel that, I mean, we can't depend on luck all the time. We have not played well. We have to accept the fact and we have to go back to our dressing room and see where we have gone wrong. I feel Sri Lanka played much better today. You know, they deserved the win. They were, until 10 overs looked like they were going to, it was a cakewalk for them. Then we came back. But it wasn't enough. You know, a team like Sri Lanka, I feel we should have done much better.
Okay, I love talking to all you guys. Thank you so much for taking our time. There's another game, India-Afghanistan. So come back for that. Yeah, come back for that.